Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome back to my channel and my classroom, as y'all can tell. Yes, I am back in the classroom. Yes, I'm wearing pants and a shirt and a blazer. I'm professional. So, from here on out, my videos will be recorded in Castle Harper, my classroom. I'm glad to be back. My actual semester starts full force next week. Hopefully, I'll be able to stay after my classes, make my videos in here. I should be able to with no issues, but again, we'll see how that transpires. But yeah, welcome back, guys. I'm super excited to be with y'all again. This video is going to continue on our focus for practical teaching skills, especially if you want to take your kids out of the garbage school systems that are popping up all over the nation and bring them back to your home. If you wish to be a homeschooling teacher, these series will hopefully provide you tools that you can use on your kids. As we continue diving down this path, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. As y'all have seen, it's been very challenging for me to get my content out to y'all. The Soviet overlords have legit throttled my channel. It's gone beyond just shadow banned, because last week I noticed my video only got like just under 30 views, which is a drastic change from what I'm normally used to seeing. So these Soviet overlords are stifling my ability to get this content out to y'all. So please make sure to turn on your notifications, share these videos to people you know who might need this material. I will continue finding new ways to get this content out to you guys. It might be slow at first, but I will find better ways to ensure every single one of you is updated on my channel. I have just over 400 subscribers, so I'm not that big. I'm not a big name on this platform. And yet, I've become enough threat to the Soviet overlords that they've decided to not just shadow ban me, not just throttle my channel, but also to turn off notifications for my subscribers. On a separate note, as many of you are aware, a lot of things are transpiring in Afghanistan that has affected me personally. So if any of y'all would like to talk about that one-on-one, please feel free to shoot me an email. If you wish to comment about it below, please go for it. Again, it's taking me time to process everything that's been going on. Hopefully by next week, I'll have a much better synthesis on how I feel and how I'm responding to everything going on. I did serve in Afghanistan, and so it does have a personal impact on me. But enough of that. Let's move on to today's lesson. Sit back, relax, grab a drink, and let's get started. Memes, we all know them. We know what they are, we know how varied they are, and we know how diverse memes can be. These are funny, they're hilarious, but there's actually a deeper component to memes. If you are in the older generations, these may seem kind of silly or irrelevant to what's going on in our world right now. However, I argue that memes are an excellent way to get a pulse on what's going on in our global societies. More importantly, if you are a teacher, you can use memes to not just teach history, but to allow your student a creative way to display their knowledge, to show you that they understand these things in a meme format. Now, this may seem kind of weird at first, but trust me, this has been a proven method I use in my classes all the time, and it is hilarious. As you can tell, this video is going to be a little more lighthearted, but it's still going to be a very good practical skill you can apply to your classroom. This meme right here is one of my personal favorites. I love this format, and I've seen countless topics that this has been applied to. But memes are not a recent thing. In fact, memes have been used all throughout human history. For example, one of the earliest memes in US history comes from 1921. This comes from a newspaper, I believe. As you can tell, it has a very clear message it's trying to say. Now, I'm not going to bore y'all with the intricacies of understanding what memes are trying to say. But as you can tell, this clearly had a social impact in the 1920s. Memes can also come in the form of a primary source, as seen right here. This is one of the muster roll sheets that show every person that served as a Texas Ranger during the time of the Texas Republic. These names in particular are really interesting because these are Native Americans who served as Texas Rangers. And so this can also be taken as a meme. Was this his actual name bestowed upon him by his tribe? Or was this a white Anglo looking at him, seeing him do something hilarious, and then write that on the sheet? We don't know. But again, this can also be considered as a meme. Another example of meme evolution throughout history is in the form of political cartoons. This one right here focuses on the topic of imperialism, specifically China's response to imperialism. Then you go to comics, the funnies. Again, these are examples of memes. Fast forward to today. Memes aren't just applied to history, but they can be applied to all subjects. Some of my favorite ones are the math memes, as you can see here. That's exactly how I feel. Memes can also be applied to English. Again, I personally love this one because I can't tell you how many times I've been frustrated by reading some amazing novel and then hearing a professor go on and on and on about how amazing the word is when the author probably had no deeper meaning to it. And of course, memes can be applied to history. This is another goodie that I like a lot. Now, here's where it gets really cool. Memes aren't just used to scroll through and laugh at. Memes can also be used to teach. They can be used to assess a student's knowledge. What does this meme tell us? Well, first off, it's hilarious, especially if you know your history. But what if you don't know your history? What if you see this and you're like, I don't get it? This is when it can become a teaching tool. So let's say you're covering world history. You show this to your student. Student's like, I don't get it. Have them break this meme down piece by piece. Number one, this focuses on the joke of every country just existing. Every country. There's a lot of countries in the world, okay? Who's the focus? Obviously, it's England. So before we go any further, have the student tell you what they think so far. Ask the student, hey, so what are your thoughts? Why do you think this meme is connecting England to every other country in the world? And have them think about it. And if they're still not sure, then move on to the next part. It's free real estate. Okay, well, what is real estate? Have the student dig into this. Have them teach themselves what real estate means. Basically land. Well, what makes it free? Once the student starts connecting the dots, the goal is for the student to ultimately take a step back and realize, oh, okay, this is referring to England taking over land. Whose real estate is it? Every country that literally exists. Once the student grasps this key point, on their own, mind you, then y'all can start looking at imperialism, colonialism. Look at how England did take a lot of countries' lands throughout human history. Even though that was a pretty in-depth analysis, the point of that was to show you how to start a lesson with a meme. Let's go back to the math one for a second. If you're about to begin a math lesson, and if you know your student is not a fan of math, they hate it, they despise it, they're not looking forward to it, instead of just diving into the material, show them this meme and see what their reaction is. Who knows? They might laugh at it. Show them more memes about math. In fact, have the student find memes about math that they can relate to, that they can laugh at. And what's the point of that? Well, number one, it helps the student feel more comfortable. But number two, the student might actually be able to connect what they're seeing on memes to the lesson. For example, this meme is brilliant because I can't tell you how many times I've been in this situation where I got the right answer, but I didn't want to explain it because what's the point? I got the answer, here it is. Math is math. Again, this is a normal frustration for a lot of people who don't like math, like myself. But if you use memes like this to help get you into the math lesson, this will help the student feel more comfortable. They'll help them feel more at ease. And they'll realize that, hey, math is weird. Math can be dumb at times. Let's you and I, the student and the teacher, get through this lesson together. As I mentioned before, I use memes in my classes all the time, but not just for getting us into a topic, but also assessing the student's knowledge on a topic. Whenever I teach US history, there's a unit that just focuses on the Cold War. This is an assignment that I give my students to assess their knowledge. So instead of creating a multiple choice exam over these topics, I just have them create a meme. Use your sick meme skills to create or find a meme for each Cold War topic below. Then explain why you chose each one. You'll be graded on how accurately the meme illustrates each topic. And here's the beauty of using memes as an assessment tool. Number one, the student has to do research. They have to figure out, okay, well, what happened during this topic? Number two, they have to either create a meme or find a meme. Creating one might be a little bit harder, so finding one's just fine too. But when they do find that meme, they have to connect the humor in it to the key points, to what they just learned. Once they're both connected, they have to explain why they chose that meme. So again, three things are accomplished: research, connection, explanation. At the end, you can grade it based off of those three components. How well did they research the topic? How well did they connect the memes to the topic? And how well did they explain the topic? There you go. That's the assessment. That's the test. And I guarantee you, the student's going to have way more fun doing this test compared to your traditional A, B, C, or D. So let's do this together. Let's say we're a student and we're tasked with finding a meme over the Marshall Plan. So right off the bat, first thing you gotta do is research. So the student digs through and learns about the Marshall Plan. Well, what was it? What happened? Now, as far as the sources go, as we mentioned in previous videos, encourage your student to go to credible sources. Let's avoid Wikipedia if we can. Let's go to .gov, Britannica, MarshallFoundation.org. That could be a good source. So once they get the information, the knowledge, then they go to the memes. Now, this could be kind of challenging. It's really hard if you don't know what the Marshall Plan was, hence the research. But now let's type in memes. Now, obviously, it's up to your discretion as far as what memes are okay and what are not okay. Clearly, there are some that might be inappropriate, but again, you're the teacher. It'll be up to your discretion what memes are appropriate and what are not appropriate. Let's find one together. Oh boy. You can already see one in particular that may not be that appropriate for school-age kids, but like this one right here, US after the Marshall Plan. This is brilliant. What's going on in this picture? Clearly my boy Leo is tossing cash off the balcony. Well, what could that symbolize? Leo being the US, just tossing money at what? Well, if you did your research, you would know you'd be tossing money at the European countries. And you can automatically connect this to the Marshall Plan. Now, if a student used this as a Marshall Plan, I would give them credit for the research. But as far as the meme connection, I might take a couple points off, mainly because it doesn't clearly denote where the money's going to. But let's see if we can find a better example. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This one would be a perfect meme because it checks all the boxes. Number one, the student clearly did their research. Number two, the meme connection is perfect because you're using an actual quote from a modern day guy asking for financial support. We know who the players are, US and Europe, after World War II. When you connect all this, this makes sense. It beautifully explains the entire Marshall Plan in a single meme format. The final part where the student explains why they chose it is completely up to the student. I can't really show an example of that right now. At the end of the day, we know that sometimes teaching things may not be that fun. We know that certain subjects may not be that interesting to some students. So how do you make it interesting? Begin it with a meme. Gradually get them into the subject with humor, as y'all saw with the math meme or the history meme. But the next big component of this is assessment. How do you assess your students' knowledge? You could give them a typical standardized test with A, B, or C, or D, and see your student struggle and be filled with anxiety. Or you can have your student showcase their knowledge through memes. Give them the topic, have them do the research, then let them connect a meme to the topic, and then explain why they did that in a clear and concise format. That doesn't just develop 3 practical skills. It makes the assessment process fun. There's no reason why you can't make a test enjoyable. There's no reason why you can't make a whole topic exciting. It's okay to find creative ways to show off your knowledge. That's all okay. To conclude, the moral of the story is that learning can still be fun. Assessing your knowledge can still be fun. The phrase taking a test doesn't need to be filled with anxiety and fear. In fact, if you do assessments like this, I'm willing to bet that your students will be more willing and actually excited to take the test. They'll be looking forward to knocking out the assessment for that unit. And after some research and some hard work, who knows? Your student might create a beauty such as this. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Again, I want to try to make this channel grow as much as possible. But the only way for it to grow is you guys. You guys are the real troopers. I would not be able to do this without every single one of y'all. So thank y'all so much. Please make sure to keep liking, sharing, subscribing, and turning on your notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I create new content. Furthermore, keep supporting the Patriots down below. They keep up this fight against tyranny every single day. Never surrender, never submit. This Constitution vet, signing out.